How do you do it? My husband wants a divorce. Actually, no, he said that he wants a dissolution. I just quit my full-time job to take a part-time job at the school. That way I can get myself through school to get my RN degree. Now he wants to separate, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. One, I am so sad for our daughter. She's always had mommy and daddy there, and it breaks my heart that she has to go through this. But also, like, how the am I going to afford to live? How am I going to be able to provide for myself and her? I think I'm just still in shock right now. Like, is this really happening? Yeah, it is. I don't know. If you guys have any advice, just let me know.
This is a perfect example of how women will always think about themselves when it comes to a breakup or a dissolution or a divorce. Because why is it as a society we've normalized just breaking up? Imagine if these same women put in the same amount of energy into fixing a relationship as they do in planning their exit. We'd have a lot less divorces, I'll tell you that much. But even more so, everything in this video screams me, 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 and nothing about possibly saving the relationship. And then, of course, the women will get on the internet and claim that it's in the best interest of their children, even though they're thinking about themselves. But the reality is that household is never going to be the same. There is no amount of money, of alimony, or child support that is going to make your children secure by not having both parents together. And so many women have done this so freely because it's so celebrated and so normalized to just be a singular co-parent, rather than what it looks like to make up, break up, and fix a broken home, rather than just finding a new one. And all that's really gonna happen is she's gonna find some simp that wants to put up with her kids and basically take care of her and do the bare minimum as a stepdad, because basically he's easier to manipulate because her ex-husband no longer wants to.
You ever notice how people tell their story only after scrubbing out the parts that make them look bad? Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. Now, notice how she conveniently skips over why he divorced her. That's always the first red flag. Because, let's be honest, if she had been blindsided, if she was truly innocent, she'd make sure everyone knew. But she didn't, which tells you one thing: that man had a very solid reason to walk away. And here's the twist most people miss. She's not upset because the marriage ended. She's upset because he ended it before she expected him to. She thought he'd tolerate the disrespect, the nagging, the emotional manipulation, the same way most men are pressured to stay and fix it. But he didn't. He reached his breaking point, quietly packed up his dignity, and left the moment she crossed that invisible line. What you're seeing isn't heartbreak, it's shock. The shock of realizing that the man she thought she could control finally called her bluff.
He works 2 jobs.
2.
He works 64 hours a week.
Continue.
Has like 1 day off. And within that 1 day, I want him to go outside with us.
You want him.
Me, Sophie, and him.
Right.
But he wants to stay home
Okay,
and spend time with us.
Okay.
But I don't want that. I want us to be outside. And I'm upset with him because we don't go outside and do activities as a family. Am I being reasonable, or am I being a bad wife?
You're being unreasonable and being a bad wife. You're both. If I'm working 64 hours a week and you're a stay-at-home mom that watches way too much TV, which I'm assuming because you posted this, you watch too much TV, God forbid a girl has a hobby that doesn't require spending money, hashtag stay-at-home mom, you posted this. I'd be if you're going to tell me what the hell I'm doing on my off day. I have literally been out the house all week working. I would love to be inside of the house that I'm paying for. You're 100% being unreasonable. And if you don't like it, get a damn job. What you just said got the women in the comments bashing you. When you got that happening on the internet, you know you're wrong. You know you done said some dumb. How inconsiderate of you. Mans is literally working his life away to provide for you two. And you're mad because he wants to spend his one off day indoors, the one day that he can be indoors with y'all.
You know what's rare these days? A woman actually reflecting on her behavior instead of instantly playing the victim. That man definitely deserves an apology. No question about it. But at least she's showing a flicker of self-awareness by asking, am I being unreasonable? Was I a bad wife? And honestly, That's progress. Because most people today, men and women, are so deep into pride that accountability feels like a foreign language. When someone admits even a hint of fault, it means they're not completely lost to entitlement. Too many relationships collapse because one person refuses to say, maybe I messed up too. Instead, they double down, demand blind obedience, and act like the other person's feelings don't matter. But the moment she stopped and questioned herself, even briefly, that was the first real step toward maturity. Maybe she's realizing that love isn't about control, it's about respect. And that realization, it's what separates people who grow from those who just repeat the same mistakes with a new face.
Hey man, everything okay?
No. My wife and I got into a fight, and we agreed to not talk for a month.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. A little peace and quiet?
Yeah. But today's the last day.
The most you've done for a man that wasn't your man. Bought him skincare products that cleared his acne. He found his confidence and left me.
Other men, and she won't get out of my car. Now she's crying. So I caught her talking to other dudes. Oh, wow, that must be sad. God, that must be terrible. Oh, man. What were their names again? I love how you said they were just your friends and you were sending them pictures. Get the f out of my car.
You can hear this dude's pain in his voice alone. You know, if this dude ever manages to see this video, or there's someone out here going through this, which I know there is, never, ever take her back. Never.
You know that women leave men 80% of the time, and if they're college educated, it's 90. So if you get divorced, it's 80% of the time like the woman leaves. And one of the number one predictors of a divorce is actually if the woman out-earns the man.
Oh, I love that. I actually love that. I can't lie. I actually
You love that? You don't think that's kind of...
No, I'm like, girl, you go get that. You go get a man, and like, yeah, you go get that. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Like, why is there like a lack of empathy for men?
It's not a lack of empathy.
But there is, because like they're breaking up a family and a lifelong commitment in a home, and your reaction is you go get the bag, sis, or like I'm so happy for you, when that's actually a really that's a sad.
You know what's crazy? We're living in a time where everything's upside down. People are being convinced that what's bad is actually good, and what's good is somehow outdated or oppressive. Commitment, loyalty, sacrifice, all those values that used to hold relationships together are now seen as weaknesses. And for what? Ego status, a paycheck that makes someone feel like they've leveled up. If you can't honor the vows you took, the promises you made in front of family, God, and the person who trusted you with their future, all because you started making more money or got a little taste of independence, then you were never ready for marriage in the first place. Marriage isn't a business contract you walk away from when the numbers change. It's supposed to be a covenant built on respect and partnership, but too many people today treat it like a subscription service. Cancel anytime, no consequences. And that's the problem. We've glorified selfishness and labeled it empowerment. We've mocked loyalty and called it weakness. No wonder relationships are collapsing left and right. People can't tell the difference between personal growth and pure arrogance anymore.
I'm out here trying to paint my garage. I had my little bucket up there. I had the garage closed. My girl just got here. She opens it while I'm painting. She didn't know, but... Dog, look at this. Yeah, that's me. I tried saving this. I was like, not my car. Not my car, not me, dog. I should have saved myself. Look at this. I ain't do nothing but leave a little design. This look like I just ran someone over. Crime scene. Ran over Venom or something. Look at that. My car is cooked. It's all over the windshield. This just finally stopped leaking, or is still leaking. Dog, I might as well paint my car black. And I threw this. I was like, oh, let me be safe out here. Let me not get nothing dirty. Look at this, bro. Ugh. Bro, my neighbor's out here looking at me like, what's this guy doing? I'm a little bit more pain from being canceled, dog. I can't even deal with this. I'm sorry if anyone saw this in my neighborhood, dog.
Stop trying to understand women. They put nails on top of their nails. They glue hair onto their actual hair. Like, they spend 3 hours curling their hair just to make it look effortless. Okay, you think you're gonna decode that? Bro, you can't even fold a fitted sheet. What are you gonna figure out? All right, women are playing a completely different game. Okay, you're out here trying to figure out if she likes you based on her text response time. Meanwhile, she's matching her perfume to the season. All right, you're still confused why she needs 4 different shampoos. She's out here contouring her collarbones. All right, you're still using the same 3-in-1 body wash for your hair, face, and car tires. She's out here color coding skincare for morning and night routines. What do you know? You're worried about whether she likes you. She's out here matching her purse with her water bottle. You think it's crazy she has 10 foundations. She thinks it's crazy you own 1 towel. All right, so trying to understand women is like trying to understand Wi-Fi. All right, one day it's strong, next day it's weak. Sometimes it just disappears without warning. You still pay the bill regardless. All right, listen, stop stressing yourself out. Okay, you don't need to understand women. Just do the best you can.
If you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who values truth over trend. So do me a favor, hit that like button and drop a comment if you want to see more real conversations like this. Your support helps push this message further. And trust me, the next one, it's going to make even more people uncomfortable in the best way possible. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp out there.
People, I ghosted you? Really?
I mean, yeah, I am. Because you did.
You don't know why I stopped talking to you?
No.
So you wanted to do this on the radio? Fine. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, it's the only way I can get a hold of you.
You're out of your mind. Seriously, you are out of your mind. But you know what? Since we're here and you didn't just want to keep it private, I'm gonna tell everyone why we're no longer in contact. You see, my friends was kind of, sometimes we do it, glancing over her shoulder and looking at what she was doing, and she was seeing someone. And obviously she was not seeing me. I was right there at the party. And when I confronted her about it, she told me to f off and she left. So she's saying she has no idea. I feel like that's pretty clear.
Is that why you cut off contact?
I told you I had unresolved stuff with my ex, okay?
Yeah, but
apparently
I thought that you were processing a breakup, not that you were still sitting and talking and all of that.
This is your fault. You don't know anything about emotions.
This is crazy.
You can tell me who I can and can't text.
I mean, I feel like you really don't know how dating works at all. Obviously, I'm
You've heard the saying, single women keep women single. And there's a reason that phrase has stuck around, because when you really pay attention, it's the loudest ones doing all the crying and complaining about where all the good men went who are usually telling on themselves without even realizing it. Let's be honest, men didn't just disappear. They didn't suddenly stop wanting love, peace, or partnership. They just started recognizing patterns in behavior, attitude, and entitlement. Modern men have learned to avoid women who treat relationships like emotional ATMs, constantly taking, never depositing anything back. It's not that men are afraid of commitment. They're afraid of wasting their commitment. Why would a man pour his time, money, and loyalty into someone who only sees him as a tool for validation or convenience? The truth is, men are no longer falling for the performance of femininity, the I'm a queen, so worship me act that comes with no humility, no effort, and no reciprocity. And that's why so many women end up surrounded by friends who tell them, you don't need a man, instead of friends who say, maybe it's time to self-reflect. At the end of the day, men aren't avoiding women. They're avoiding the wrong kind of energy. The self-serving, never satisfied type that drains rather than builds.
Don't hear about healthy relationships anymore is because of the fact that those of us in healthy relationships ain't got to say to y'all. Because anytime we tell you what we do for our husband or what our husband does for us, y'all look for any reason to try to come up with some type of excuse or some type of narrative that we're being controlled, or that we're not really happy, or I would never do that, is exactly why you're miserable is still single, and exactly why no matter who you try to date or what you try to date, you still end up unhappy, because you have this long list of what you feel like is supposed to come from a relationship, yet you don't want to be able to, like, you just want to be on the receiving end. Relationships are give and take. I can't remember the last time that I did laundry, but I will be out here taking the trash out because I don't give a. I would rather take the trash out than to be downstairs doing laundry. I don't want to. I don't like laundry. But if I tell y'all, oh yeah, I take the trash out. What? You take the trash out? You're a woman. You shouldn't be taking out the trash. That's a man's job. Like, when it comes to a healthy relationship, there is no gender roles. I do what I want to do and he does what he wants to do. And it ends up working out together because I do. It just so happens that what he doesn't like to do, I don't mind doing. And what he doesn't like to do, what I don't like to do, he does.
You can feel this man's pain just by the way he talks. And that's the part people often overlook. He's not angry out of hate. He's hurting out of love. Love for his son. Love for the family he tried to build. And love for the peace that got shattered in the process. So yeah, send prayers his way, because this is the kind of man who still shows up even when everything around him is falling apart. He clearly loves his son deeply, and you can tell he's fighting to stay strong, not for himself, but for that little boy who still looks up to him. But here's what's really sad. Too many fathers end up punished for simply wanting to be present. They get dragged through systems that were supposed to protect families, not weaponize them. And that's the fear that she might go even further, twisting the family court system into a tool of revenge instead of resolution. It happens every day. Men alienated from their children, not because they're dangerous, but because someone's pride couldn't handle accountability. That's why we have to keep talking about this, not to attack women, but to remind people that fathers matter, that boys need their dads, and good men deserve peace, not punishment, for trying to do the right thing.
I just spent 5 years with a woman who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, just to find out she was literally cheating on me from the start with the same dude. We have a son together who's almost 2 years old, and all I ever talked about was how much it hurt me to be in a split home growing up. And she grew up in a split home. I just don't understand how you can have a child, be a stay-at-home mom, have literally the dream life, everything going for you that a mother could ask for, and go off and sleep with some dude, and now your life's ruined. I'm glad. But the number one thing I'm not glad about is my son. I just don't see how you can do that to him. He loves us both so much and spends time with us every day, and now all the time he's gonna be wondering, where's daddy?